Hello, hello. Hello? We'll go wireless so we can be louder. All right, we're about 30 seconds early, but we're pretty full, so we'll go ahead and start it. Let's first welcome to the August Town Hall. Y'all bear with me, I'm a little rusty. I've missed the last two, maybe three, I can't remember. But I'm back, so hold the applause to the end. And let's go ahead and move to our moment of silence, please. Okay, we're all looking good and centered. Show of hands, did anybody play in the pickleball tournament yesterday? Oh, okay. Congratulations to the residents. I have a few props up here today. Dan Fisher came by my office and said, about 2 months ago, and said, just so you know, this is what's going to happen to y'all when we play pickleball. And so that sat on my desk for a while, but it did not motivate us enough to win. We lost. Congratulations to those that participated. All right. We are going to start with a philanthropy update. I think there's a lot of people here. I don't see Carson. There he is. Again, I'm a little rusty. I forget where everybody sits normally. So turn it over to Carson for a little bit.
Thank you, Matt. Hello, everyone. Just a very quick update on my end. You should be receiving emails about planned giving and estate planning. I mentioned this a few town halls ago. If you may have received one or two at this point. You'll get a few throughout the year, probably quarterly. I just wanted to remind you that that is a resource for you, and the links will take you to different articles that are going to be relevant to you throughout the year, and they'll take you to our website where you can explore resources and things like that. So just know that that's there for you. Be on the lookout for those, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Happy to help walk you through the process of getting to that site and exploring those resources. Then the other thing that I'd like to do is welcome up Floyd, who's going to share an update on our Resident Financial Assistance Campaign.
As you are aware, we have a campaign each year for raising money for resident assistance for those who don't have the resources to continue living here. And at this point, have an update. I'm not going to tell you the dollar amount, but we have a very generous response. Carson has told me that at this point, we have a better response than we've ever had. And so we want to say thank you. But I also want to encourage you, we still have a ways to go. It is the generosity of our hearts and our understanding of our commitment to stewardship that we share with others. And I just want to encourage you to keep that in your minds as we complete the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Floyd. And just as a reminder, you can give from your IRA. And as we get into the fall, a lot of you will be thinking about this more. And I'm grateful to see that more of you are taking advantage of giving qualified charitable distributions from your IRA. We've seen that more than ever this year. So thank you for giving to Friends Homes. And if you have any questions, I'll be here at the end.
I did have one more housekeeping item. Don't want to look at that yet. I know some of you are cold. We're all cold. It's fall outside, winter inside right now. But we had an issue. Mark's fixed it, so you should start to feel some warm air circulating soon. So hang in there, bundle up. Rumor mill. Spoiler alert on that. But the rumor is the sliding doors, both on the Woolman front entrance or the west main entrance, can be pushed open if I forgot my badge. If you're laughing, I'm suspicious that you've done this. They cannot. Well, actually, they can. I had a mentor one time who said, just because you can doesn't mean you should, and that's the case here. So let's please don't pry those open. That's a serious security issue, and Mark, We'll have to replace our doors at some point if we keep doing that. Rumor. Anyone heard this one? We're eliminating memory care. I hope you all paid attention in the master plan sessions. Right after one of those, someone asked us this, and they said, I heard that you just announced you're eliminating memory care. That is not true, nor has it ever been discussed. That's not something that is even on our radar. No intentions of doing that. Another rumor. Now, this is an old one. This tends to come up every so often. The sales team purposely chose the West neighborhood more than the Guilford neighborhood. Has anybody heard that? No? Okay. Getting ahead of it. They don't. They show the entire community. Some people do come in and they know, they've had friends that live here. They know they only want to look at a particular area. In that case, they would work with them. But when someone comes in, tours, new groups, all those things, they go everywhere. All right. Anyone in this room familiar with the Kellen Foundation? Okay. Good. We are excited to announce that we have a special guest, Sierra Harrison in the back here. Do you mind standing up real quick and giving a quick wave? Everybody say, hey, Sierra. Very good. Sierra works for the Kellen Foundation, and this is a new partnership that we have formed here at Friends Homes. So, in an attempt to deliver some holistic support services, we have reached out to the Kellen Foundation. We've partnered with them, and they are going to provide these services here. Counseling services, group counseling, group support. There's a peer support specialist who will be working alongside Sierra, and some education programs, some discussions, some talks. Meanwhile, these are the services that we offer on site. So your resident services, referrals, we have Kelly here so we can lean on her background in social work as well. And then Bobby as our spiritual wellness coordinator. So this is a direct result of partnering with the Health and Wellness Committee. So many iterations of that committee ago, this came up as a need for some counseling services, support services. And without boring you on the whole long process to get here, we're excited to roll this out. So Sierra's here. She's going to be hanging out. So if we finish up early and you want to get to know her, you can go see her. She is going to be our one of the staff from Kellen that are working here. She will be here for now, Tuesdays and Fridays. But again, our hope is that we grow this caseload, we grow this program, and that we continue to add to it. If you don't want to bombard her today, we do have a series of meet and greets scheduled that are now on the Icon calendar. They are on the Icon calendar. And there'll be some refreshments. So come in, meet the team, learn a little bit about what they're going to provide here and how it can benefit you. Coble's menu changes. I mentioned I had some props. We wanted to go very mushroom heavy, very, very mushroom heavy. I couldn't decide if I was going to say soup bowl or mushrooms, but those are rare Quaker mushrooms that we have. So now that you're all in a good mood, why did we want to change the menu? So the menu at Coble's has had slight modifications, nothing major. And so that through the dining committee, we would get prompted, when are you going to change it? When are you going to revise it? We also had a lot of individual feedback. And we did this dining survey in March, and in that we got a lot of feedback about quality, consistency, variety, and comments about how frequently the menu changes. So meanwhile, with all of that going on, we were refreshing the Ruth menu. And so coming out of that process, there's a lot of overlap. So Ruth kind of took on its identity, casual, approachable, comfort food oriented. And as part of our dining strategy, we need to look at the other venues and see where they fit in that, so that everybody has choice, variety, 4 different places you can go eat. What did that process look like? So we wanted to mimic what we did with the Ruth. So we put together a focus group of residents who were volunteers from the dining committee, volunteers from people stopping by my office and telling me their thoughts on the food. And let's see, who else was in that? Again, volunteers and members of the committee. We also worked with the dining committee, probably not as close as we should have. We're going to cover that momentarily. But we start to brainstorm. So we took the survey results, we reviewed the survey results, we did a little open session about what's popular, what's not popular. We were shocked to find out some of the things that we really liked, like the meatloaf, were less than popular among the residents. So we took all that feedback. We also presented a couple menus that had been given to me by the previous dining committee chair as a reference of a menu that he wanted us to evaluate. And it was a huge hit. So we got some feedback about the direction we wanted to go, and we went to work. So again, I mentioned a couple things here, and I want to really drive this home. There's a little mini rumor mill in here, and I'll put that up here in a minute. What drove the decision in the adjustments to the menu? So the dining survey was a big one. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite restaurant? What is the one thing you wish we could change right now to make the dining program better? And then your open-ended feedback. And then resident feedback and input, both through individual comments, through the committee participation, and through the focus group. So if you can't guess, the rumor that I heard a lot was that you're just trying to save a buck. And that is false. I can tell you a number of reasons why it's false, but the most glaring is that the item in question that drove this comment is one of the cheapest things we can put on a plate. So if we were going to save money, that is not the first thing that we would go after. So how did we get here? We put together a draft final product. Move around too much. A menu that is smaller, of whole meals. That was another feedback we got about the Friend Special and the chef's features, is we like a whole meal. We don't like having to pick an entree, pick our sides. We want a whole meal. We want to keep the chef's features, was feedback. You got to keep the heart healthy selections. And then you have to make the Friend Special available on the campus. Initially, it was going away completely. The feedback was it has to be available here. If it's a more casual item, put it in your casual venue. So we did that. We had some setbacks. We had the kitchen floor. We had some key departures and turnover and position changes. And then I mentioned we had some missteps. So in a sense, to cut straight to it, we put the cart before the horse. We made some pretty big changes to that Friend Special item, only offering it at one place, before we put back this menu that everyone who's participated and been familiarized with it feels very good about. So we recognize that, and we recognize that for a couple ways. One, our instincts told us this is probably not a good idea. And then we heard your feedback. And I want to say again, if you haven't read the memo, I do appreciate your feedback. I got several really thoughtful, well-worded, and I'm not joking, emails from people expressing some very valid concerns about how the order in which we made these changes. So again, I do appreciate that. So we regrouped, we met, we talked about what we need to do. As you know, the Friend Special came back. You've seen the memo. So where are we at now? And this is important. The Friend Special is returning to Cobles August 11th. We have postponed the launch of the new menu that was set to launch on the same day. So we're going to take a time out. We got some really good feedback. There's still some work to be done. We are going to proceed with the tasting. So Cobles is closed tonight. So those groups that have helped us work on it can taste some of the new items, give us some more feedback. There is a dining committee meeting tomorrow where the agenda has a lot of room on it for the Cobles menu. And then we're going to play by ear what we need to do, calling those two groups together based on the conversations tomorrow. So, what are we trying to do here? Develop a menu that offers better consistency, quality, and variety. And how do we do that? a smaller menu, so it is fewer items that will help us with the quality, help us with the consistency. It rotates monthly, so we increase that variety, and the chef's features stay there for additional variety. Those will rotate weekly. And then the pricing. So two things that we're looking at, and more to come on this. One, we committed, if you think back or if you were here, way back, I believe January, December, we committed that we were not going to make any major price adjustments to the ancillary fees, to the service credits, anything like that, because you all have been through a lot. So we committed to holding those. A few things have had to be adjusted, but we are going back now. We're looking at our pricing, and based on that, we're going to adjust the service credits. And based on that, we are going to look at what's the average cost of a meal on this menu, and how do we ensure that we're giving what we're promising here at a fair value. So more to come on that. I share that for a few reasons. One, if you have not shared your feedback, have not shared constructive feedback, please reach out and let me know. If you want to share non-constructive feedback, that's also okay. Maybe we'll pick a time to get that over with. But tomorrow, jokes aside, the dining committee is not that time. So the dining committee is an opportunity for us to really dig into that. So if you are coming as a guest, I encourage you to do so. But let me know your feedback ahead of time, afterwards. But we have carved out, met with the dining chairs to work on that agenda and really carved out some time to discuss that. And now I would normally turn it over to Tim, but he is left sick, or as I like to say, I think he's afraid to That's a joke. He is sick. You would not want him up here. None of us would want to use the microphone after him. So I did just quickly meet with him, and we talked about what to cover. Obviously, the Kobol's menu is the number one item. He knew that I planned to cover that. But we did want to share resident feedback, and this is something that the dining committee has shared. I'm not really sure, shared it with the committee. I don't think it's gone out broadly, but ways to give feedback. So this is just a reminder. You've all probably heard this in some form or fashion, but in the moment, if you've got an issue with your meal, let us know. We don't want to wait. We don't want to get an email a week later. We want to fix it, and we not only want to fix it for you, we want to adjust it so that we don't make that same mistake again for everybody who orders that meal until we hear this feedback. So let your server know, let a supervisor, manager know, or you can tell dining leadership after the meal. So we have a couple ways to leave some comments after the meal. You now get presented a comment card and a check presenter. If you fill that out, those are reviewed by the leadership team, the dining leadership, so they can make adjustments. Those are also entered manually into the Happy or Not, and I'll talk about why shortly. You are also welcome to use the Happy or Not kiosk. I know it takes a little while to type in feedback, and it can time out quickly and those things, but if you do use it, we appreciate it. But if not, that is getting entered in. And then finally, you can call or email or visit Tim. Some of those ways are better choices than others, but you can go do that. So what happens to my feedback? The dining team, as I mentioned, makes adjustments in the moment. They also make adjustments when they review the comment cards. Done typically daily, but sometimes if there's a big stack, it might take them 2 days to get through them. But they review those quickly. They make adjustments. Those are entered into Happy or Not so that we can organize it. So Happy or Not on our end organizes trends, tells us, hey, here's an area you probably should look at. A lot of people said the food quality was bad. A lot of people said the temperature was an issue. It prompts us to look at those things. So getting that feedback is helpful. Getting it into Happy or Not is also very helpful. It also lets us compile reports so that we can go to dining committee and say, here are our top 3 items, here's what's not so great, here's the general feedback, this night was terrible. Sometimes we'll get, a certain night we know that the shrimp was not good. So it helps us to drive those discussions. And then why should we do it this way? I hope you hear the theme, which is that we want your feedback. Without your feedback, we don't know what we need to work on, We can't fix the things we need to fix. And we can't tell the team, hey, this is a really good, this was a good change you made. Again, it's a really roundabout way to say it helps us identify problems and fix them quickly. And it helps us celebrate successes. So please continue to share your feedback. You got a lot of ways to do it. I have a pointer. There it is. You got a lot of ways to do it. We appreciate it. Constructive and non-constructive. We appreciate it. Please keep talking to us because we want to give you the best meal service that you can have. So I'm going to turn it over to Whitney. And I'm going to take my mushroom back to the storage.
It's going to be hard to follow that act. My name is Whitney Ariza. I'm the Director of Campus Life, and I'm happy to share some updates with you today. The first, and one of the most very exciting, is I'm going to have Cassidy and Mary come up here. Come on up. Yep. We've got their pictures. So you received a memo about Mary's promotion to the Senior Life Enrichment Coordinator. And Cassidy has just, yes, you will give Mary an applause for that. And this is Cassidy's second week with us, and she is the new Life Enrichment Coordinator. So we're excited to have both of them on board. In the coming weeks, Mary will be moving into the office beside me here in the West Admin hallway, and Cassidy will be over at Guilford and Mary's old office. But like always, they will be back and forth between both of the campuses, and you'll see both of them a lot. So thank you, ladies. Thank you. We're very excited. On August 20th, we're going to have a craft and bake sale. We do this every year. It's going to be here in the West Living Room from 10 to 2. We are still accepting vendors, so if you are a baker or you have some special talents and skills with crafts, we would love to have you as a vendor. So far, we have jewelry, baked goods, decor items, books, cards, ornaments, and more. So please come on August 20th and see what wares are available. We also have our trip to the mountains finalized. So you'll be getting an announcement about all the details with a specific itinerary very soon. We've got, let's see, we're definitely going to the Biltmore Estate. There's a King Tut exhibit going on while we're there, and we'll have lunch at the Stable Cafe. We're going to take a ride on the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad. We are doing, and one that's really cool is a private trolley tour of Asheville. So we'll go around and see the Grove Park Inn, some of the sites in downtown areas. So I know a lot of you are excited about this one. This is similar to the trip that we ended up having to cancel last year because of the storm that came through western North Carolina. So we're excited to get up there this year. And the prices, I think, are a great value, $715 for a double occupancy and $865 for a single occupancy. So we're going October 20th through the 23rd. We expect the trip to fill up. So if you're interested, when the itinerary goes out, there'll be details about how to sign up. So don't put it off if you're interested. We want to make sure you get a spot.
Whitney, where is the lodging?
The lodging is at the Brookstone Inn or Lodge. Brookstone Lodge in Asheville. It's close to the Biltmore. It's the same place we worked with last year, although we didn't get to go last year. We did have a good experience customer service-wise, so we're going to be staying there. And it's nice because it's near Biltmore, but it's also near the highway. We can jump on and get to Bryson City for the train, too. Okay, and then just a couple of helpful tips. If you need any help with Icon, you can always contact me or Mary Wallace and Cassidy Holt. So Cassidy has got a crash course in Icon, and so she's ready to assist with that. And then, of course, Mary is an expert in Icon as well. So if you need any help signing on, you forget your password, it needs to be reset, you can't figure out how to sign up for an event or a trip, just let one of us know and we'd be happy to help you. And then another update for transportation. So the activities committee has been talking about this for a couple months. And beginning in September, the order of campus pickups is going to rotate locations every month. So sometimes when we go on trips, we always pick up here at West first. And a lot of times the bus fills up from the front to back. So we are going to start alternating locations for pickup. And sometimes it makes more sense to pick up here at West second anyways, because we go and jump on the interstate that's nearby too. So I'm telling you this, you probably are not going to notice much of a difference, except that if the pickup time, I'm going to give you an example. If the pickup time says 6:15 and you're used to getting there about 6:10 and loading the bus first, you may be loading at 6:15 or 6:20 if they're starting over at Guilford. So just make sure that you're at the pickup location at the right time, and the bus will either be there or be there shortly. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. That's it for me. I'm going to pass it over to Jasmine.
Do I get a...
Well, I'm Jasmine Hernandez, Director of Wellness, and I'm going to talk about our Contura Fall Friendly. So typically this is the Olympics, but this year we are calling it the Fall Friendlies just because it is a small scale of the Olympics, and in 2026 we will have our normal, typical Contura Olympics. So here you're going to see the list of the actual events we are doing for 2025. We have home puzzle events, so that's here on campus, September 1st to the 12th. We have the 150 piece, 300, and 500 piece. Men's billiards, we will have preliminaries, and that's September 9th at 9 a.m. Mixed chair volleyball, men's 9-hole golf, women's 9-hole golf, men's pickleball, we will have preliminaries September 9th at 2 p.m. Women's pickleball, and then we'll have preliminaries September 12th at 1 p.m. And then Quiz Bowl, and for this event alone, we will have spectators. So if you are wanting to support our team for Quiz Bowl, you can sign up. So for our athletes, we are asking you to sign by August 29th. So if you are interested, we are open, and we would love to have you. Just know that if you're picking one of the events for the preliminaries, you will need to attend the actual preliminary event to do that. If you have any other questions, we should have this on the connections, and you can talk to me or Kayla. So what is going on in August? So we have our monthly senior fitness assessment. So for anyone who has a birthday in August, this is your chance to come and take your baseline. This is Thursday, August 14th at 2 p.m. in the Solarium. We just had our one here for West. So if you're interested, please sign up on Icon or just contact Wellness. Encompass Well Talks, that's our monthly educational Well Talks that we have. And this month we're doing osteoporosis, myths, diagnosis, strategies, and hope by Ashley. And so that's gonna be Thursday, August 21st at 2 p.m. at Guilford, the Guilford Living Room. We are bringing back Susan, and she actually just started last Saturday, and this is our mindfulness workshops. This one is about finding stability amidst change. Anyone is welcome to come in. You do not need to sign up. And that's every Saturday in August from 3:30 to 4:30 in the LEC. And then lastly, we have our monthly challenges, and this month it's called Step Into Wellness Cards. And so I've had several ask, what is that? And so that's just a little card in the front of the fitness center where you'll just grab. And if you come to the fitness center, use any of the equipment, you can stamp or do a punch hole, and that will count. So it's 10 visits, 1 visit per day, and if you complete 1 card, you get a reward. So complete a card, you get a smoothie on us, and so forth. So please come see us. And that is it for me.
everybody. I'm Daryl Shores. I'm the Grounds and EVS Director. So a couple things. We heard feedback as well. So styrofoam bins. I know it's been a hot topic, but I think what we're going to do is I've kind of landed on an idea. What we're going to do is install styrofoam bins in every trash room. Now they're all going to be according to the size and fit to your trash room. So I know we have different various sizes throughout the facility. But what I want to say is those bins will only be for food collection styrofoam. So throw those styrofoam bins in there. Now, if you have packing styrofoam from Amazon or something like that, that's where I'm going to have you try to use the recycling center bins. Does that make sense? Okay. So that way, those bins in the recycling center are a little bit larger, so we can collect more there. But in due time, we'll be adding signage, we'll be adding some stickers onto the bins, and anything that is yellow will be for styrofoam. Yes?
Where is the recycling center?
So the recycling center, there'll be a memo that comes out in a little bit, and it also include a map. Recycling center right now is currently in the 5000 building. It's right before you get to the wellness center. It's the last room on the right. You'll see it, and there's a sign that says recycling center and what all's collected. Now the villas also in their underground parking is very large, so we have recycling centers in each one of those villas. So if you're out on Quaker Hill, or if you just want to go on a walk your styrofoam, you can go to the villas if need be. There's also another question in the back. That was it? Okay. And so that map will be coming out soon too, and that'll kind of help direct some of those questions. But if you do have any questions, please reach out to me. Second slide, so this doesn't really affect us as much here, but Window Hair came by today and we cleaned the Juliet balconies on the Hobbs building. So we used a different technology that essentially, for those that got to see it earlier this year, it's the drone minus the actual flight of the drone. So the pressure washer allows for them to reach up to 5 stories by standing on the ground. So we focus on just cleaning the Julius and trying to get all that streak that we have on some of that glass off. I think we're gonna probably phase that into our next year's cleaning when we use Window Hero again in January. But I just want to kind of let everybody on this side know as well that this is kind of the plan. On that note, I'm gonna turn it over to Jordan.
There's a clapping trend. Hello, everyone. This is my 5th presentation in 3 days. Feels like I never left. Here's a quick financial update, and just a reminder, we do place our financial report in the resident lounge each month, so if you wanted to check it out, you could see not only this June's, but previous months' financial reports. So operating revenue, we're ahead of budget by $331,000. Our operating expense has expanded. Compared to budget, the negative variance has grown. And I think we need to take a moment and just talk about that, because I believe there's a rumor out there, or there's a concern out there that financially we're in trouble. And that's simply not true. I want to point to this number right there. You see that number? That's our margin, $2.6 million of positive margin. And so I don't want you to be concerned by this number here, 435. I think that's what people have looked at and said, oh my gosh, we're in the hole, $435,000. That's not true. It's just that we made $2.6 million of positive margin versus $3 million of positive net margin. Okay, so we're just fine. And so you've heard me month after month after month say that financially we're really strong. As a community, we are very, very strong. You have nothing to worry about. I don't want you to think that that negative number of 435 is an issue. It's not an issue. We didn't make as much as 3 million, but we still made 2.6 million, which is a lot of positive margin. And we're going to talk about ratios on the next slide, and you'll see again how we are in a positive place, okay? Now that might be about as clear as mud for somebody in this room, and if you want to talk about it a little bit more, we certainly can afterwards. Our cash and investments, almost $85 million in investments That means that Friends Homes Incorporated, there's $85 million just earning interest, which is really wonderful for a community of this size. But we also have debt, right? $104 million worth of debt. That's bond debt. Very normal in a community our size, and that a community that's been through expansion. We've got big bullet payments that we plan for, and we'll knock that debt down each year with big chunks of bullet payments. I actually believe in August, this month, we have a big bullet payment coming up. Really reasonable number there. Entry fee receipts. We have a budget to receive $4.8 million in entry fees by June of this year. We've actually collected $5 million in entrance fees. So our census remains really, really strong. And the desirability of Friends Homes remains really, really strong. And that's because we're a great community. Don't you agree? Yeah. Absolutely. We're a lot to be proud of. And then purchase of fixed assets. So we planned in our budget to have spent $3.5 million in projects and upgrades to our buildings, or you name it, mechanical equipment, vehicles. We plan to spend about $3.5 million. We've only spent just under $3.2 million. But we're about to spend a little bit more. We have some big projects coming up over this month and next month to close out our fiscal year. Remember, our fiscal year ends the very last day of September. And so we have some big projects coming up. And we'll share in more detail of those projects at or around the September town hall. But we're doing really well with our capital projects. And then we always set aside 5% of our revenue for charity care. We know that we have to dedicate 5% of our revenue to charity care in order to maintain our not-for-profit status. And so that's what we do every single month. We set that aside. Our financial ratios are really, really strong. As you can see, this is our budget in green. And this is where we stand in the white here. And so we're surpassing all of our budget. That's our ability to pay our debt. It's really, really good. Our days cash on hand, really, really good. And our margin is 8.7% versus a budget of 6.8%. So really, really proud of how we're doing financially. And that's a testament to our residents, that's a testament to the staff, and how they manage the finances. So just a few general service updates for you, maybe some questions or statements that you might have seen or heard. So somebody mentioned this at one of the presentations yesterday. They said, what are you doing to address the healthcare venues now, right? We talked about master planning. How many people went to the master planning presentations over the last 2 days? Wonderful. That's great. That's very encouraging. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you doing that. So it was a really good question. They said, what are you doing now to address healthcare over here in West? Well, I can tell you that right now we are getting ready to refresh Juniper, which is the West Healthcare. If you were to go in there now, you'd see all the artwork off the walls. You'd see areas the walls being repaired and patched, and we're getting ready to paint all the common areas throughout West Healthcare. That includes the railings, that includes the doors, the dining room, the multi-purpose room, all those hallways. It really is going to look quite nice when it's all done. And we have a little bit of money set aside for some artwork as well. But we're not stopping with paint. We are extending our efforts towards the culture in that area. When it comes to staffing, we're reorganizing the way that we do things. We're reorganizing the way that we serve our meals there. We're even flip-flopping the common area rooms, the multi-purpose room and the dining room, to improve our operations and ultimately to improve the experience for the folks who live there. So we're continually looking for opportunities to address need and improve things. That applies to all of our departments, but this is one example. Some folks may be aware, maybe you're not aware of this, but we actually have we created a focus group of residents to look into the Ruth Dining Room. There's a sense that the Ruth Dining Room needs a refresh, an aesthetic refresh. And so it's close to a year ago, I think, we assembled this group of folks, and we've been designing and updating our drawings and getting budgets for this project. And we are scheduled on the 27th of this month to meet with the group of residents and present 2 different design options and take their feedback and make a selection on a design scheme. And then we'll embark on this journey of renovating or refreshing the Ruth dining room. We're hoping to address some of the noise that's in that dining room. It's a big dining room. It can get noisy at times. And so we've hired a designer, we've hired a builder, and we'll be meeting with the residents. That's a group of, we'll include some officers as well, some committee chairs, and we're really looking forward to it. And the nice thing is there's going to be 2 different color schemes, and so ultimately the residents get to decide. Let's see, what else? You may have noticed River Landing buses. Has anybody noticed the River Landing buses driving around? You may have ridden in some of those River Landing buses as well. We're not trying to advertise for River Landing, I can assure you. We just happen to have a couple buses go down all at the same time. One of those unforeseen things, and so they're all in the shop, and we have this great partnership with River Landing. We're very thankful for that partnership, and times like this is another example of why having a good relationship with Kintura helps our community. We were able to commandeer some of their buses and use them to keep us going, and it's at no additional cost to Friends Homes residents. Finally, I thought it was appropriate to take a moment and celebrate some success around here. You know, sometimes we get stuck on things that aren't going well. Maybe there's a controversy, and certainly we spend time focusing on clearing up rumors and trying to address needs. But I also think it's appropriate to take some time to share some pride in our community and the good things that are happening here. First one is huge, and I don't know if you all realize this, but one of our biggest battles at Friends Homes and any life plan community is recruiting and retention. And if you drill down further, it's nursing, CNAs and nursing. If last year we had about 30 nursing openings. Is that right, Elizabeth? That's right. 30 nursing openings. I'm not talking about like CNAs, and I'm talking about nurses. We were using agency. We're paying extra whenever you bring in agency, or it's like a short-term staffing agency. You pay a lot for that. And so this is a problem that's existed since COVID, really. And you all know what happened in COVID with labor and labor shortages, and you've heard the Great Resignation. The Great Resignation affected healthcare in a very, very big way. And so they were, here, we were trying to dig out of a hole. And there's a point last year where we all said, okay, enough's enough. And we need to really drill down, and we need to peel back the layers of the onion. And we need to get to the bottom of why we are struggling to retain staff. And we had to be really honest with ourselves. And we had to look at the culture. We had to look at leadership. We had to point the finger and have some really honest conversations about things. And we took many different steps. We pulled many different levers to address our issues. I stand here today very proud of our team who came together, and I'm able to say that as of today, we have 0 nurse openings at Friends Homes. I've been doing this for 22 years now, and I don't think I've ever been able to say that in front of my residents, I'll be honest with you. And it's a full team effort, so kudos to everybody. And that's a benefit to our residents because there's stability, there's quality care as a result, and it's been a fun journey. We're promoting from within. I think we can all agree that promoting from within is really, really important. I would also say it's the sign of a healthy organization. So you just heard about Mary, You know, Mary was able to move up, but we also have Shakria. Now, you may not know Shakria, but Shakria came to our community as a CNA. And she was young, and she earned her LPN, and then she got RN and BSN. She became the director of nursing, and then most recently, about 2 months ago, I shared with you that she's now the director of clinical services, uniting all of our healthcare venues from a clinical standpoint, reporting to Jim Newman. But this is monumental. It's a monumental shift within our community that we were able to do this. So we finally, after decades, have one tip of the spear for our nursing direction. This is incredible. We just refreshed the Woolman Reading Room. If you've been to Woolman, there was this reading room. It's sort of like a library, but just a relaxing area, and it was getting a little tired, a little run down. So we hired a designer, and she's working with us now. It's just about done, if not done. And it really looks great. One of the neat things we were able to do is we were able to repurpose a lot of the stuff in that reading room. So that goes back to our values, our core values of sustainability. Our residents over at Woolman, they really appreciate that. I'm sure you do too. So it's just a little refresh that we did because folks asked for it, and we felt like that was the right thing to do. And then master planning. You all came to the master planning, and you learned about what our leadership, our board of trustees, is doing in concert and partnership with our residents to position this community for success, not only now, but long into the future. And I think that's something to be proud of. And then finally, as we mentioned, the Ruth refresh. That's going to be a big project. It's going to be a couple months that we do this. It's going to cause disruption. It's going to cause a rerouting of residents, and we'll share in detail when the time is right, which is next month. But it's another positive sign of how we're reinvesting in the community, not only in the future, many years down the road, but right now, for the folks that live here now. And it's going to be a dining room that we believe you'll be very proud of and that you can celebrate, and you'll want to take your friends and family to as well. So would you all agree that these are all positive things? Yeah. I certainly do. I'm so proud, and I'm so proud of the team here, and I know that they're proud as well. We feel very blessed to be a part of this community. And I hope that each month we can get up here and talk about these things. It's worthwhile. That pretty much concludes our presentation. We're happy to send the microphone around, and if you have any questions, we'd love to answer them. Does anybody have a question?
Use the term charity care. Is that your term?
I did not coin that term, but it's a generally accepted term. So the reason we set that money aside.
About continuing care.
I don't think the two are synonymous. Those are two different terms, two different meanings.
Sounds negative.
Well, it quite literally is. It goes to charity. Those dollars are dedicated to charity, so it is appropriate. Yeah.
I'll just say, these are not terms that we've come up with. That 5% is charity care and community benefit, and the state of North Carolina defines those terms and has set those terms for us. So, yeah, we're not able to change it, and going forward, we usually say charity care as the general term to include charity care and community benefit, but it means that 5%.
Can you tell us where the money goes? What charities?
Yeah, it's board directed. In the past, we've dedicated funds to colleges, university scholarship funds, Quaker causes. There's going to be a review and suggestions made by the board in our September meeting, and they'll finalize what we'll do for last year's charity funds. But generally, it's been causes like that. Quaker Lake, Guilford College has been a recipient. There's also the Medicaid gap. This is a deep subject, so some of those dollars get dedicated to when folks might exhaust their income through no fault of their own, they can continue to live at friends' homes, and that helps some of those dollars get dedicated to cover those folks. Medicaid pays a certain amount per day, but it's not enough to cover the true cost of what it costs to live in our Whittier skilled nursing. So the gap between what Medicaid pays and what we charge, there's dollars that get dedicated to that. The same goes for other insurances. So if there's a gap between what the charges are and what the insurance reimburses, dollars are dedicated to that. So there's a number of areas where that money is allocated. And so after we've paid all that, if there's still charity dollars left, then they go to outside agencies. There is a move with this year's, or a suggestion this year, to look a little bit more inward and say, well, what are some things that we can do that would benefit friends' homes? What are some programs that can be put in place through charity funding that could ultimately benefit our residents? And so that's what the board will be wrestling with.
So the 5% to charity is different from the resident assistance fund?
Yes, it is.
But there is some overlap, correct?
There is, yeah.
Can we talk after?
Sure.
Just 'cause
Yeah.
it's a deep
Sure,
subject.
yeah, it
Yeah.
seems confusing.
It's a really deep subject, and
Yeah.
we'd be here all day. Yeah. Mary's coming to you.
It's just really short and quick. Don't you also have to have verification of 501c for that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's what they look at. Anything that we have is a charity form, or, excuse me, not a form, a charity group. It's always listed as a 501c.
Yeah, true charity, yeah. Nancy?
With recent change in the phone system, when a call comes from Paula or from security, it doesn't say Friends Homes, it says Greensboro. Can that be changed?
I'm not sure, but it's a good comment. I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, thank you. Greensboro's a little general. Maybe we can drill down a little bit further. We should use that microphone.
My comment basically is, considering the styrofoam, it has to be cleaned. That was not mentioned, but it has to be cleaned. And I've seen some in some of these buildings that is not being washed or cleaned up. It's just been thrown into buckets. So, just to reiterate that point.
Thank you. Thank you. Good.
This microphone's not loud, so I'll try to be loud. Bernie's correct, and that also applies to any of your recyclables. So pizza boxes, paper bags, if something's leaked in the bottom of it, if it goes into recycling, that can potentially contaminate other things. Good point.
And it welcomes pests. Are there any other questions or comments? Yes, Bill.
Did I understand Matt to say that Cobles is gonna be closed tonight, and if so, why?
Yes, so get the loud mic for this answer. Yes, Cobles is closed tonight, essentially for a private event. So the dining committee, resident officers, and the focus group that worked on the Cobles menu is going to be sampling some of the new items tonight. A memo went out 2 weeks ago, maybe. I don't know where Martha is about that. So it will be closed tonight, business as usual tomorrow. Sorry for the interruptions.
Does that make sense? I just want to make sure, because I hear mumbling, I hear grumbling maybe. So the reason why it's being closed is because we're testing out a bunch of different new menu items. There's a group of residents who's participating in that. They're going to provide us with feedback, and share what they like, what they don't like. Yes, this is a win. No, you need to run as far away as possible from this item. Yeah, we're going to serve. So it's meant to ultimately help our folks with the new menu to make sure that you have a good experience when the new menu rolls out.
Just let them go to Ruth and they'll get a good meal.
There you go. You're welcome at Ruth. Thank you. Matt said, hop on that river landing bus and you'll get there in no time. That's good.
I just want to know, because I know there's August birthdays. I can answer this one. She's asking about the August birthdays tonight because Kobol's will be closed. That is transitioning into the Hub, so we'll still have some cake and music. So come to the Hub to celebrate birthdays with us, please.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming out today. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, one quick reminder before you leave.
Sierra is in the back if you want to say hello. We do have to take her to Guilford with us. But say hello, and if not, look in your calendar, come meet her and her counterparts. We're excited she's here.